Hello and welcome to a Black Ops 1 gameplay video, but today I'm going to be talking about my wish list as it is for Black Ops 2, kind of analysing what I found Black Ops 1 and Modern Warfare 3 did right, and what I'd like to see reintroduced, as well as what I think they did wrong and what I'd like not to see in the next episode of this franchise. Just a quick background information about the game in the background. Obviously it's Black Ops 1 gameplay, not Black Ops 2. That's going to be in the title, so obviously don't get too confused about that. And it's a 70-4 domination game with the AK-47 dual mag and motion sensor, blah 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 blah, things like that. Anyway, I'm going to jump straight into this. I've got a structured set of notes here, and I'm going to break it up into sections and kind of give you my thoughts on what I thought they've done well, wrong, and need to kind of change. So I'm going to be starting off with weapons and the game's general balance. Obviously, I think what everyone in the community wants is a nice kind of balanced weapon set with kind of guns like the FMG9 and Type 95, which feel, when you get killed by them, completely overpowered, especially the FMG9s. That's because secondaries need to be just that, secondaries. There shouldn't be any guns which are kind of better than their primary counterparts. So what I'm trying to get at here is the FMG9s are probably in some situations more viable than a PM9. So that is somewhere which I think they need to work on and to kind of master the weapon balance. Another thing I want to be brought into this game, as with Black Ops, with the amount of customization they had, what I'd like to see is kind of each gun to have their different characteristics. So instead of the assault rifles all having the same clip size, maybe some have a little bit different clip size. Like the Galil here, it's got 35, whereas the majority have 30. That kind of gives it something a little bit special, something nice, something to mix it up a bit. And the M16, which I've just picked up there, that's a burst fire. So I kind of want the variety in the guns to kind of, give you an incentive to use different guns, so we don't see the same overpowered like ACR, FAMASs, AK-74Us all the time. So a nice variable range of weapons would obviously go down incredibly well. Talking about sort of little bit of game mechanics and weapons, sniping I'd kind of like to see them kept as it is, but I don't know whether they need a perk really about how well you're going to be able to aim down sights. But obviously with sniping in Modern Warfare 3 you needed a perk called Quick Draw to aim down sights, so it wasn't too bad. It kind of gave a bit of balance. It meant snipers, if they wanted to quick scope, they had to use that, and therefore couldn't go for something a bit more unorthodox on a sniper like Assassin, which would have given them more of an advantage. So maybe that trade-off is good. I'm not quite sure how I lean on this, because personally I do really enjoy sniping at times, but when I'm on like my big kill streaks, going for those Moabs and nukes and things like that, to be killed by kind of someone quick scoping seems a little bit cheap at times. So I'm kind of be on the fence about this. I quite like what Treyarch did, but when they started tweaking it and changing it, it was a bit hard to adjust to, so they kind of want to go with one thing and kind of stick with it. Another thing I'd like to see include was like the continued inclusion of more unorthodox weapons such as the crossbow and ballistic knives, because it gives a nice like variety to the game. To have like a medieval crossbow in a game is something a bit different, and it kind of keeps it fun and fresh. So I think they need to continue to like look at new weapons they can include, and with Black Ops 2 being set futuristic in about 2025, if the Nuketown, if that's the time period that it's set around, like Nuketown 2025, which has just been confirmed, then it's going to be easy enough for them to introduce new weapons such as like X-ray vision and things like that. But I think that's more of a kill streak, so I'll kind of steer away with talking about what's been confirmed. I'll do a separate video on that, on what's been confirmed so far, and I'll get into that a bit later. But anyway, moving on, I'm going to cover the attachments now. And one thing I did like that I thought Black Ops did quite nicely was the return of dual mags. I'd like to see the return of that, because it kind of gave an alternative to extended mags. Obviously both gave you an extension in the starting ammunition, so you didn't really need scavenger at times, but the dual mags with the alternative reloads as well made you have to think about how your gameplay is going to go, whether you've got the quick reload coming up or whether you needed sleight of hand for that situation. So I think that was quite cool. more sights and alternatives to the red dot sight is something I'd really like to see. Like, for example, maybe an option for upgraded sights on any of the weapons, just so if you felt you wanted to go silencer and just the best sights, you could have upgraded sights if you use Warlord or Bling or something like that. I think that would be nice to see, and it would just give a nice variety in guns, and when you get a kill by, it's not always a red dot sight. Moving on to red dot sights, I'd like to see like more customization in them, whether you could customize more than, like, as you know you could with the emblems. Maybe you could customize the actual red dot sight with the, like, whatever you wanted to put on it, and maybe like the rim of the red dots, colours and things like that. I think just bring more kind of user customization into the game would be very good, and it would increase its longevity, I feel. Talking about sniping, with attachments, I'd like to see the return of snipers where you can choose to go no scope, as it is. With World at War, where you could choose not to put a sniper scope on, you could go with the bare bolt action iron sights. That would be something I'd like to see, is that it kind of allowed snipers to be a bit more aggressive without having to scope up. There was just pretty much the same aim down sight time as an assault rifle, so that wasn't too bad, and something I'd like to see brought back in. And something a bit different one of my friends brought up to me would be that if they wanted to bring a new attachment to the series, maybe a switch on the side of the gun where you could choose to switch between semi-auto and fully auto for the weapon. So maybe if I'm at long distance with this AK, I'd switch it to semi-auto, and I'll be able to like tap fire across the map to get more precise kills rather than spraying and praying. And then when I go into close quarters combat like I am here, you just have fully auto so you can get those cheeky triple kills. So that would be pretty good. Moving on to kill streaks, which is the second but last aspect which I'm going to be covering. Obviously, I liked very much so Modern Warfare 3's introduction of the 3 different strike patches: support, assault and specialist, all giving different players different, and their playstyles a new kill streak setup to roll with. Support, however, should be just that. It should just be support. You shouldn't be able to have overpowered stealth bombers like lethal streaks, which in times can be better than the assault's airstrikes. So I think that was a little bit unbalanced, and the EMP I think can be a little bit overpowered at time. I think if they're going to reintroduce something like that, it needs to be a bit of a higher kill streak. Not so easy to obtain, because just 18 kills in a game is pretty doable for most players. So if you've got 2 or 3 people running that, the other enemy team is going to get very frustrated. I really like the point streak ideas, with objectives actually incentivising people to play them, especially Slayers. It means if you're one off your specialist bonus, you can jump on the flag, boom, you get your specialist bonus. I think that's a really good thing, and I think that needs to be kind of reintroduced into Black Ops 2. Talking about assault streaks now, I have thought about this a lot, because in Modern Warfare 3 I haven't really used assault that much. I've been specialist predominantly, going for those Moabs and things like that. But if we are talking assault, I think the higher kill streaks like the Pavlo 11 kill streaks like that need to have a varying amount of flares. If it's the first time the player's got it in the game, then I think it should have 3 flares. But if they're like 60 and 2 in the game engine, they should be able to program in that it only has 2 flares, so it's a bit easier to take down, and it gives it a bit more balance, and it means one person isn't just completely dominating throughout the whole game. Fake care packages, obviously you could hijack them in Black Ops 1, but bringing it back as a actual support kill streak, I thought that was quite good, because it kind of varied the tempo of the game and gave a bit of risk, because whether you go to try and hijack that Pavlo or that Osprey gunner, just gave you that kind of element of risk. And if you did get it, you got an absolute buzz. You were like, oh, I thought that was going to be fake, but in fact it wasn't, so that wasn't too bad. But specialist, now this is one area which I was really pleased with and have used substantially a lot over Modern Warfare 3's life cycle. Obviously, the ability to gain an additional perk every 2 kill streaks, and the perk of your choosing, was really nice to me. And especially when you get to the 8 kill streak without hardline, that you get all the perks in the game, I thought that was really nice, because it really did give you that buzz and made you feel like you were that super soldier. However, if there is no secret kill streak such as the MOAB, then I feel like specialist is somewhat redundant. Apart from you getting all the perks, what else is the point to it? Because if there are no more like secret kill streaks, and there's no point in having all the perks, because yeah, you'll be flying around, but you won't be kind of working towards something. Obviously, David Vonderhaar has kind of maybe somewhat hinted at bringing back a kill streak of that some sort on Twitter when he put up the nuke symbols, but I'm not going to speculate too much about that. Moving on to the MOAB, or Moab, or MOAB, or whatever you want to call it. There's a few things I want to say on this. It can somewhat be kind of frustrating at times, because the reward of only like 2 or 3 kills as a result of a 25 kill streak, I think isn't that good. Obviously you get a double XP and you EMP them, but it kind of seems like you're striving for no apparent reason. It's not really worth the risk of and kind of the struggle of going for all those kills. So I feel it should have the same game engines as the Modern Warfare nuke without ending the game. So by this I mean that once you get the MOAB, it should kill all of the opposition players, regardless whether they're in a kill cam or just joining the game, because otherwise it's like, well, I've just got this massive kill streak and I've kind of earned nothing for it. But obviously I've enjoyed kind of just getting for it just for the buzz. And then finally, moving on to the higher kill streaks, such as the dogs, which can't be shot down. I really like that in Black Ops, because it means when you get your 11 kill streak, you're like, well, I'm at least going to get 1 or 2 kills unless they're really good at knifing dogs. And then being one shot was kind of cool. And one thing one of my friends, kind of Herity, kind of posed towards me is that he would like to see the return of attack dogs like me, but he was thinking, depending on the map type, maybe switching it up, and instead of being attack dogs, if you're on a jungle map, maybe have some tigers, or if you're on a snow map, maybe some polar bears, something kind of fun like that. Mix it up, and then you don't know what's going to come after you every game. So that could be like the attack animal or something, but it would just vary it up each game. I think that would keep it nice and fresh. Anyway, moving on to the penultimate section, which is kind of a combination of 3 sections added together, which is maps, game modes, and game mechanics. I really like the interactivity of the Black Ops maps, especially Kowloon and things like that, where you can jump on the zip lines. Kind of gave the maps a new dimension. You could see people flying across, gave it the kind of action feel, and I thought that was really, really nice. And it was kind of a shame that Modern Warfare 3 steered away from that. So I'd like to see that brought back in some aspects, like just opening doors and stuff. That's kind of cool, and it just means that, you know, it can sort of like breaching into a warehouse. It gives you a new kind of dimension to the whole game. Personally, I didn't have anything against the map designs of Black Ops or Modern Warfare 3 really. In fact, the only thing with Modern Warfare 3 is that the spawn system, especially in free-for-all and game modes like Domination, even if you're pushed into their spawn, they shouldn't spawn looking at you. I think that's kind of a fundamental flaw to the series that kind of really needs to be addressed. From what I can remember, Black Ops didn't really seem to have that problem, so hopefully they'll kind of Treyarch stick to what they did in Black Ops 1 and we won't really have any issues with that. A sniper only playlist as well will be really, really great, because a lot of people in the community get frustrated with snipers, and snipers want to play against snipers. So if you put a sniper only playlist, it would kind of keep them out of the kind of big ground war ridiculous games like that, and you know, it would keep everyone happy. And I think that's one way which the series is going towards community feedback, which was kind of shown in Modern Warfare 3 with All or Nothing, Infected, and you know, the community playlist. And I thought that was really nice to see. However, you know, the introduction through the game cycle I thought was really, really good, because it kept it interactive and it gave you things to look forward to. However, like the things such as All or Nothing, I think they were just trying to be wager matches, and I don't think it worked very well because it didn't have a COD point system. Maybe if you could wager prestige tokens, that would make it really interesting. But like the reintroduction of prestige tokens, I thought would be really nice, especially COD points. I like the ability to be able to buy your weapon once you've unlocked it, and then be able to choose your attachment straight away, and then level up that attachment. So I thought that was a really nice touch. And one thing in Modern Warfare 3 I thought, you know, Infinity Ward, Sledgehammer did really well was the introduction of Face Off. That's especially with their pre-designed, specially made maps for it. I thought that was really nice to see, and it kind of gave a, you know, different route in which you could take with the game, mixing it up a bit, and I thought that was really, really nice. However, the COD point system, I thought, you know, that was really good, and I would like to see the reintroduction of that, but I'd like to see them keep the weapons levels, because that meant people who don't normally prestige and, you know, don't play the game that much but normally get to level 80 or whatever the max level will be, allows them to get the gold guns just by using that gun. I thought that was nice. So maybe if Treyarch did the weapon levels, but you had to spend 50,000 COD points on the gold camo, I think that would be nice, because that was the price it was when you were 14th prestige in Black Ops 1. So kind of reintroducing that obviously would be a great way to go. And finally, I think prestige tokens were a really nice reward, especially when you've gone all the way through a prestige, to have something waiting for you at the end, thinking, okay, when I prestige next time, I can choose either double XP, double weapon XP, some packages, regular, hardened, and veteran, or maybe a new custom class. I thought that was nice to bring, especially the ability to choose, unlock a weapon early when you're going through the prestige. So if you really liked the G11 from Black Ops 1, which was a classified weapon after you unlocked everything, or maybe you like the AK-47 from Modern Warfare 3, but you want to choose it from level 1, you could have it straight away. So I thought that was really good. Okay then, moving on to the final section of the video, which is going to be perks. I've deliberately left this to the end because it's normally one of the most controversial areas to discuss. So I'm going to jump straight into this, and first of all, I'd initially like to see some new perks brought into the game, such as Stalker was into Modern Warfare 3, and things like Blast Shield, which is obviously a variation on Flak Jacket. So I'd like to see the reintroduction of new perks. I'd like to see returning ones such as Stalker, because a lot of people will have used Stalker in Modern Warfare 3, and then not to have that in Black Ops will kind of greatly affect their playstyle. So obviously that would probably be nice to see reintroduced. Last Stand, I think, has definitely got to be got rid of. So regardless of whether it's a death streak or not, I think death streaks have got to be non-lethal. So along the lines of Juiced and Revenge, which you can't really see working that much. So it gives them a little bit of an advantage, but it doesn't give them a tactical nuke in their pocket when they go down to Last Stand. Because Dead Man's Hand was a ridiculous idea. I don't know who even came up with that idea, but I think that's got to be scrapped from the series straight away. And obviously I like the idea of having, as they did with Black Ops, the second tier perk as Warlords, which was a trade-off between Sleight of Hand and Warlord. It meant that you couldn't obviously have a silence for extended mags or red dot silence without giving up another great viable perk such as Sleight of Hand. See, when they reverted back to the able to have 2 attachments for free in Modern Warfare 3, I think that kind of gave everyone an advantage, but it put more emphasis on stealth rather than having the trade-off. There was no real alternative to using 2 attachments on your weapon, because you might as well just put 2 attachments, and then if you had specialists, you ended up getting all the other proficiencies anyway. So it kind of lent towards that. So I'd like to see a trade-off, some good alternatives in the perk selections. So in the first tier, if you have Scavenger and then another good alternative like UAV Jammer or something like that, then that will be good to kind of make sure that the perks aren't that overpowered in a combination. Obviously I'm going to get onto the most kind of controversial topic now, which is Assassin or Ghost or whatever you want to call it. I like what they did in Modern Warfare 3, where they split it up into Blind Eye and Assassin, unlike in Black Ops where if you got Ghost Pro you got Blind Eye and Assassin. That was completely overpowered. However, in Black Ops you had a counter to it, which was the Blackbird. I think there's always got to be a counter to Assassin, unlike in Modern Warfare 3 where not even the advanced UAV picks it up, and Assassin gives you immune to pretty much everything, EMP, all the UAVs. So it's kind of really overpowered in that respect. So I want to make it so they keep it balanced. One way to do this would be that if you did have a Blackbird, obviously Blackbirds will counter the Assassin and therefore an 8 kill streak, so that makes that balanced. And I think Assassin should be working if you're moving. However, if you're in the same area of the map for a sweep of the radar or whatever as the UAV, then you should come up, or Assassin should give you 1 sweep behind, so the enemy won't be expecting you on top of them so quickly. However, it will still give you a little bit of an advantage, and I think that'll be a good way to balance that out. So pretty much that is all my thoughts on the kind of 2 previous games, what I'd like to see them reintroduced. What I'd like to hear now is your thoughts on it, and if you have kind of agreed with everything which has been said throughout this video, then maybe tweet it at Treyarch and show your friends, and then we could kind of blow it up a little bit, and then hopefully grab their attention to be able to bring in what we want to see into the next Call of Duty video game. So thank you very much for watching. If you have enjoyed, maybe leave a like and a favourite and subscribe. I'll see you guys later.